was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass. Time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then.
All right, welcome back. Right now we're gonna be running the Tower on the Borderland with Shmumbler. This is gonna be an any percent run, and Shmumbler, I'll let you take it away, brother.
All right, so yeah, uh, like you said, I'm Shmumbler, and this is the Tower on the Borderland. This game came out a little less than a month ago. It hasn't been out too long, but it's already pretty quick, pretty good run. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Count you down in three, two, one, and go. So yeah, Tower on the Borderland. Basically, I am playing as Aaron here, who is a member of like an elite CIA adjacent task force known as the Chozo, and we have been tasked with investigating this strange tower structure that has appeared in a world between like the lucid world of reality and the world of dreams, or something kind of like that. And right now we're just kind of in the tutorial where we've just gotten here. We're trying to get to the top of the tower to meet up with the rest of our team members. They kind of left us at the dust, told us to stay put, but you know, I don't really feel like just sitting around and not doing anything. I'm gonna go see what's up. Being the tutorial, it's kind of telling us all the basics around movement and combat. This game is actually got a lot of depth to the combat, and it's kind of hard to get used to it at the start. My casual playthrough of this game, I actually really hated how it played at first because I was just bad at it. But essentially, what it comes down to is you start out with the knife. There are firearms that we get throughout the game, and you have a nifty little lock on, which was the little crosshair that you saw in green across the enemies. There's also a secondary crosshair, or a secondary meter on that crosshair, where you saw like the two little vertical lines that kind of came closer together as I stood still. That is the game's focus meter, and essentially it's just the closer those bars are together, the more damage your attack does, up to double damage. Um, that's going to come a lot more into play with the firearm, which I will hopefully be grabbing here. Of course, I got baited twice by the elevator. Hey, unlock and stay unlocked? Cool. So yeah, the first weapon that we're going to be getting is a handgun. It is gathered in the same way that you get pretty much any upgrade in this game. This game follows kind of a Metroid style upgrade path where the upgrades are scattered around. Most of them involve an encounter of some kind to get specifically these fallen squad members. So I pick up the handgun, this guy comes to life, and now I can't leave until I kill this guy. So I'm going to be doing dodges into the attacks because the focus meter, while primarily charging by just staying still and not moving, it also gets like bonus meter, I guess I could call it, by dodging attacks. And the thing about that is what the game constitutes as a dodge is actually having the attack make contact with you while you're dodging and getting that invulnerability from it. If you just avoid an attack or get near an attack, that's not enough. So here, I make use of the fact that a fully charged handgun shot can stun the enemy. I'm playing a little loose with my health here because it doesn't really matter at the moment. And then once I get a stun, I can follow up with a knife attack for even more bonus damage. A lot of the combat in this game is just coming down to trying to stay as close to the enemies as you possibly can, and making as much use out of the extra damage as you can to just get through them super quick. That said, at this point, I'm basically just making my way to a particular point. We should be at this stage of the game kind of trying to work our way back up to the top of the tower. At this point, I did actually rendezvous with my squad, found out that they betrayed me, and then they basically shot at me and pushed me off the tower to the bottom. And this is kind of like one of the core components that makes this game really great is just how big the map is. This game, like I said, kind of taking from Metroid, there's a lot of exploration involved, and weirdly enough, when I first played through it, I spent a lot of my time trying to backtrack and accidentally making progress. I think I actually made it like half of the way through the game before I just gave up on trying to backtrack and just continued forward. But in trying to get up to the top of the tower, we're actually supposed to go into an elevator on this floor that breaks and crashes us down even farther below. And that leads us to our first boss encounter that we're supposed to kill in order to get climbing equipment in order to scale farther up the tower. That said, what I can do instead is just pull out my radio while I'm falling here, and I just realized that was really risky because my health is really low and you take 20 damage every time you fail one of these. Basically, the fall damage is like Dark Souls. There's not like an actual fall damage, but if you fall for long enough, the game fades to black and you take 20 damage and respawn back on the cliff that you fell from. But if you have the radio out, you're immune to damage. So it never does that. You can just fall out of bounds like this and get right to where the climbing gear is, skipping the first fight. And now, since I never rested at any of the bonfire equivalents of the game, I can return home to get to the very start of the post-tutorial game, which allows me to go straight to the third boss. So, just by being able to go out of bounds there and recall myself to the start of the game, I have now skipped 2 bosses in like 10 seconds. That said, before I get to our technical first boss, I am going to take a little detour to the right here, because there's another upgrade over here that is quite important. That is going to be our first assault rifle pickup. Technically, I could just skip this one and get a later one that I'm going to have to get because I have to clear out the enemies in front of it anyway to make an elevator operational. Alright, come on. There we go. Alright, spawn your 2. Okay. You're usually dead by now. That's fine. That's why we've got the health. One last one to take care of. But yeah, it just ends up being easier for the run to go ahead and get this assault rifle because the boss that we are about to fight has a dev-intended quick kill strat that is much easier to pull and much quicker to pull off with the assault rifle than with a handgun. That said, since the path from the home base to this fight is a bit of a distance, and because my health is actually not great right now, I am going to go ahead and take a safety home base right here through the one-way elevator. Because this game has shortcuts, also like Dark Souls, where I go through the elevator in one direction and it's now open for use. There we go.
Well, it definitely is nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it makes it where it's like a 15-20 second run back as opposed to a 45-second run back, so it's not necessary, but great for safety. Coming into the fight, there's 2 attacks he can do. I'm looking specifically for the flamethrower, just like that. I'm gonna get behind him and shoot his backpack. And apparently I missed my second burst. That's fine. Shoot your flamethrower again. No kickies. There we go. So that makes things a little annoying because I have less ammo for this phase now, but whatever. I'm just going to stand just outside of the range of his fire breath. I really like that charge attack. I'm not a fan of it, but it's fine. The elevator that McCrae came out of is the actual way out after the fight too, so I'm going to go ahead and loop back around just to make my positioning better. Alright, switch to handgun. There we go. Alright, so that actually means that I would have survived if I had just gone into the fight to start with, but that's fine. Safety's always better. And that's first boss down. Now we're just climbing ever higher. There's a little cutscene trigger at this home that I was hoping to skip. I don't know why it made me watch it that time with how far away I was. I have gotten past it before, but I don't need that home base because all I'm gonna fight between here and the next home is exactly one enemy, and yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the assault rifle just because it makes that a little bit easier though. There we go. So yeah, that enemy you do actually have to kill because when it spawns in, the elevator that you need to go through locks until it's gone. In the past, I've avoided that by just running a little bit further down to the hall to a second elevator, which is where you get the body armor, which is an equipment piece that halves the damage you take. But I don't need that. Or I hope I don't need that. I should need that. And yeah, killing it is just as fast as going in the elevator and then back down the elevator. This hallway here is actually the one that's probably the most scary for me. There's all these enemies that I'm running by. That's not a big deal. The issue is this elevator always locks when I get to it because of these enemies over here that are guarding an upgrade. And I'm going to try not to die, because that would be very bad. I really hate the ones with armor. Heal. Okay, you're stunned. That's good. It's everybody. Still have 60 health. Got my rifle upgrade. We're good to go. Next step is a mini boss fight with O'Reilly, who's going to be in a helicopter, lobbing grenades at me and shooting at me with a sniper rifle. There is a slight cheese that I recently figured out with this fight. I'm going to try to position myself. So here I can just run into the wall to avoid the sniper rifle. And if he lobs a grenade, it'll bounce off my head and will explode far enough away from me that I don't actually have to avoid it. And there we go. No sweat there. I was only one hit away from death. No big deal. Now this spider. Go ahead and kill that. And that's the last threat that I have to worry about before the next home base. So we're in the clear. That said, O'Reilly is not done yet. We are going to be seeing him very shortly. Still trying to hit us with a sniper rifle, but minus a helicopter. And this is probably a, you know, not the hardest, not the scariest, but the most annoying fight, because what does a sniper do when they're on the same floor as you and there's not really any cover? The answer is they just run away. So yeah, anytime I get close to O'Reilly in this fight, he's just gonna run. And I don't like that. So I'm going to try to do my dodges to get the focus meter, do as much damage per shot as I can. And if I get lucky, I can actually trick him into lobbing a grenade and then dodging or running away into it and hitting himself. Come on, big guy. Yep, just like that. And then he takes bonus damage from melee hits while he's stunned. You're just not gonna run. Okay, you're like broken. I like that. I like that a lot. That was really good. Now, second phase. If you just stand in a corner where you can still see him, it just breaks his AI. So we're just gonna sit here and unload. This is also like one of the reasons why you actually have to get upgrades throughout the game. You cannot hit O'Reilly phase 2 with melee. It's just absolutely impossible. So I have more than enough ammo to get through this fight because of the pickups that we do. Thanks to McCrae for basically forcing me to get the extra pickup. Technically it's not necessary, but it does make this easier and quicker. And yeah. How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good marathon? Everybody enjoyed the runs that have happened so far? I know I always have a blast at these places, and I know we've got several runs also coming up that are looking awful nice. I probably have enough ammo, honestly, to not even worry about getting the focus and just unloading at half damage. There we go. And then once you kill the boss, it opens the way out, but I can also just return home because that's the closest point to the next boss fight anyway, so. We just do that, and now we are heading to an elevator that is supposed to take us to the final boss. This is going to be Stanton, who is one of our squad members who we were supposed to have had a run-in earlier in the game, but that encounter occurs between the first two boss fights, so we actually skipped that. And this is weirdly one of the easier fights. Phase 1 for Stanton just gets absolutely destroyed by the assault rifle. I'm going to let him come closer because you get bonus damage for proximity. And we're just going to stun lock him. I'm even going to reload before I do the final blow, just so that I have ammo for the second phase. Hey, can you stop? Oh, wow. Okay. Picking a death to the easiest boss fight couldn't be me. That was actually really unfortunate. You saw that I accidentally did a knife attack there. The way you heal in this game is you crouch and hit the attack button. And sometimes Aaron likes to perform the action before actually crouching, and yeah. If I had just healed, I would have been fine. It's fine, it's not a very far run back, and this is, like I said, the easy fight, so might actually just get a little closer. That's a good attack to start with. Good ranged attacks. We're getting some stun locks in there. Cool. Easy fight. God, so embarrassing. Anyway, we're going to return home again because what you don't see in the cutscene that I skipped before that fight is that Stanton actually like crashed us out the window and took us all the way down to the basement again. So if you just start from where that fight is, you have to scale the entire tower all over again, which is a little easier because you do open the inner sanctum with a bunch of shortcuts that take you directly up. But it's still faster to just warp back to home, where you only have to climb one set of stairs and you're there. So here's our elevator to the final area, and surprise, final area is the tutorial again. Just with a few more enemies. Thankfully, there's only 2 that I actually have to kill because they are guarding an elevator that I need. Love the enemy designs in this game. The ghouls are maybe a little plain, but there's a lot of very buggy enemies that look really creepy and cool. Alright, here's my guys. Good dodge. That one counted as a dodge, good. Sometimes the attacks, since they're a little oversized, can not count as a dodge, and so you don't get the bonus damage. I'm gonna play that safe. We're not gonna do that. Okay, you're gonna hit me anyway. I see how it is. Oh my god. Okay. Wow. Just absolutely wow. I've never... Killed by a common mob. That's unfortunate. That is absolutely marathon luck. Everything that you would think causes a problem. No, you're fine. Everything's good. The one random... I'm not gonna say little guy. The one random guy that's, you know, in a slightly inconvenient slot. Everything falls apart. It's fine. It's unfortunate this is a current patch run because the initial release, there was a bug with the final boss fight where you could actually skip it by just dying. There was something wrong with the unloading trigger. So the boss would stay loaded as you respawned, and then since you were no longer in the arena, it would despawn, thus unlocking the final door. Oh, that looks a lot better. Hey, look, you don't have armor on the bottom half of you anymore. You're still annoying, though. Still blocking my bullets. And I don't know why my ability to dodge has gone out the window now, but this is fine. There we go. Can't believe I almost got killed again. It's fine, we're at the top. And camera's gonna be rude. So after all of this climbing, we finally get to fight our final boss, which is some random creature, and that is really rude, sir. Blocking my cheese spot. So yeah, in this spot, a lot of attacks just don't hit. And the ones that do are pretty easily dodged. So I can just sit here, build charge meter, and get all of these stun locks with bonus knife damage. It's really good. Super easy. There he goes. Alright, so there's Father Brian, phase 1. Now the elevator is open for us to escape. We have one fight left, and time is going to be when the health bar for that boss reaches 0. Sometimes there's a bit of a delay in actually triggering the end cutscene, which is why we do it that way. Hey, thanks for the turnaround. And here we go, Father Brian Part 2. So again, I don't have the battle armor, so I take a lot more damage here than what I'm expected to. So I'm going to play it a little bit safe. Because this boss does have attacks that do like 50 damage and 70 damage. And that's time. Yeah, that's a really easy fight to die on if you're not careful, but other than that, it's no big deal. That is the whole Tower on the Borderland run. Like I said, it can get hairy at times. You saw that firsthand, but Actually, really like this game. The combat has a lot of depth to it. The game world is huge. It's so easy to get lost, but it's so fun to explore everything and collect everything. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, that was definitely a good run. If there's any shout outs or anything you want to drop your socials, anything like that, this is your time.
So yeah, you can find me pretty much anywhere at Shmumbler, just as you see on the screen. I would like to shout out Deskumaro, the dev for this game. I did receive a pre-release key for this game and have been slogging away at routing the game out even before the game came out. So that was actually a lot of fun. Also, I am part of a stream team, some of whom you have already seen this marathon, being the Clock Tower. So if you're interested in horror gaming in general, speedrunning or not, the Clock Tower is a great place to look.
Well, hell yeah, wonderful performance. I do like the depth of this game. It seemed really interesting. So next we have Randy Ora up with Skur Ritual, another new game that just came out. Yeah, we'll be right back with you after this transition. GG again.
It creeps on. Stranger things.